Okay, this is Synapse Construction. We're doing a re-siding job on a house, Mount Baker area of Seattle. And we're also going to replace some windows, and that's really what this is about. This is the window that we are going to replace. We're trying to match the windows, or we are going to match the windows that are here that were replaced some years ago by the previous owner. And today we're just gonna look at how they get replaced. First thing we did is we built a little containment. We're gonna use these spring poles to make it easy to hold up the plastic. Covered up the floor. Taped plastic underneath the cardboard. We're also gonna put plastic over it. Hey, how's it going, Brian?
Liam.
And we're basically going to take this whole window frame out, have to reframe back in for where the old the weights from the weighted single hung window, which is probably about 100 years old, and then we'll put the new window in that matches these that are adjacent to it. So we'll be right back.
Have a good day, Liam.
Darren's taping off the plastic sheathing so that we can get a nice tight seal and not get any dust in the rest of the house.
It's a big fort, and the fort's still going to be here later.
Remove the exterior trim so that we can get the window out. We're just going to use a flat wrecking bar, get behind it and pull it off. We've already tested this window for lead, it doesn't have any. But we'll still be careful to pick up all of our paint chips and stuff that comes off, just to leave a clean place for the owners and their kids. Okay, we got the containment all set up. Everything's taped. There's no way for dust to get out of here. There's plastic underneath this cardboard. We're actually going to cut the trim away from the wall with a razor knife to make sure that when we take the trim off, pull the window out, it doesn't take a bunch of the drywall with it. Because what they did here is when they had the other windows installed, they overlaid the lath and plaster with drywall. So the trim is actually buried. Well, not really buried, but almost flush with the face of the wall, when normally it would be on top of the wall. Okay, go ahead. Darren's cutting away the paint at the joint where the interior stop for the sash is. We're going to pull that off, which will allow us to pull the actual glass with the sash out before we demo the window, which obviously helps us not break glass and have to clean all that up. And then also, if we were going to do a interior window installation from the inside, just a replacement window, whereas this is a full replacement, replacing the entire unit, what we would do is we would take these sashes off, remove the interior parting bead, which is this piece right here, and we'll show this in another video. But we'd remove that, and then both interior and exterior window sashes can come out, and then you install the window insert in the existing frame and opening. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright, now that we've got the the interior window stop off, Darren's able to remove the entire sash and glass. And that will ultimately be gone. And then we're going to remove the stops from the outside, which will allow the upper sash and glass to be removed intact. Now that we got the stops off all the way around, had to cut away some of the paint. The window's free, or the sash and glass are free. Take it out, and there you have it. Gonzo. We've added framing to fill the void where the weights were. And as you can see, they do have the old lath and plaster overlaid with drywall. This is where the old trim used to stop. And we're hoping our trim will overlap that. But if it doesn't, we'll just have to patch the drywall inside to make it work. Also had to cut a little bit at the interior of at the bottom to get to the sill plate to be able to have the height we needed for the new window. That's the thing about these old houses, you never know exactly what's going on. We had a pretty good idea, but there's always a little something going on that got added over the years. Okay, we put on the sill flashing here, and added a little butterfly cut to cover up the corner. Got a little piece of tapered, we're going to call it a back band. Basically, it's just a little tapered piece that's we're gonna Vicor from here to here, or sticky tape from here to here, so that if any water was to get in, it would come down, and the sill itself has a slight slope to it, and it would run out. And this will keep anything from getting inside. Okay, and then we just overlapped the Vicor, or sorry, Fortiflash, sticky tape, whatever it is you're using. We like to keep all our products the same, so when we're using 60-minute building paper made by Fortifiber, we use their self-adhering membranes, which in this case is Fortiflash. And you can see that everything laps the correct way. So we've got a lap this first piece, and we have our second piece that overlaps this, and then this overlaps that. So when water comes in, it's shingling down just like a roof. So we put the jam flashing on. It goes over the sill, penetration flashing, and then we got the head flashing, which goes over the jam flashing. Now we're going to install the window, and then the head flashing will go on top of the window, and it'll get taped as well, and then the top course of paper will overlap the tape and the flashing, and we've got a pretty watertight situation. So we've got the window in, we've shimmed the bottom so we're level. And we also had to modify the bottom. We had to pull off the bottom interior jam extension because we wanted to match this. And they gave us a jam extension that only came in the depth on the sill. It only came in the same as the jam. So we had to take the bottom off. That was a bit of a process, but we did it without damaging anything. And we're good to go. So we'll get this thing installed, and then the next step on the inside anyway is going to be having this drywall patch, because unfortunately the trim is not going to cover that, and we're going to need drywall. And we'll have to paint the wall as well. Okay. Okay, we got the window set. It's in. And I'm going to trim out the inside now. So off to the lumber store to match the interior trim on the other windows. Over and out.